Everyone. Today we are going to start with our second unit, and the topic which we'll be covering in today's lecture is public and private sector. Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand what do you mean by public sector and what do you mean by private sector. Although it is a very very common topic and very general topic, everybody must be aware of it, but still I will try to explain it on my part for those who are not aware about it. Public sector, see, as the name suggests, even if you pick it up from the very name public means any sector which is controlled and governed by the public. But what happens, public at large doesn't govern it as such. So what do? We elect our representatives, and through those representatives are politicians, are ministers, and that is what is, we form a government, and then that government controls something, government regulates something, that becomes a sector which is named as public sector. So it is a public sector because it is for the public, and it is elected by us, and it is governed by us, controlled by us, but through our representatives, which is known as government. So government does it on behalf of the public. So a public sector is that portion of an economic system that is controlled by any state government, any local government, any country government, national government, right? So any public enterprise in which the stake is more than 50%, which is with the government, then that would be termed as public sector. And generally these public sector are, it is established for achievement of some particular purpose. That purpose is generally in the welfare of the public. So if such a sector or such an undertaking is established, which is working for the welfare of the public with a specified purpose, then that would also be falling under the category of public sector. Then what is the main intention of public sector is to provide quality services and product to the common people. These are not profit motive undertakings. These are working for the public welfare. So some of the examples in our country are SAIL, Indian Corporation, Indian Oil Corporation, and Coal India. Okay, these are some of the public sector. Now talking about the private sector, this logo came on the wrong place. Now when we talk about private sector means any sector which is in the hands of private individuals, right? Where government is not involved and it is controlled and managed by the private sector, that is your private sector. Those undertakings are private sector. There is no interference in the operation of the private undertakings by the government, but it is not that the government doesn't have a regulation or doesn't have a control over the private sector. It can always come up with some laws or some rules and regulations through which it can regulate the private sector. But yes, it cannot intervene in the working of the private sector in an undertaking, how the working is going on, what is the strategy they are adopting. There will be no role of the government, but it can always act as a regulator to the private sector. Okay, so what is the private motive? The prime motive of any private sector undertaking is to earn profit. So private sector generally enters only in those areas where they see a huge profit. Okay, if avenues of profits are more, only there the private sector will be interested in. Otherwise, it won't be coming there. Then they are not accountable to publish their annual reports, unlike your public sector, where they have to, annually and half yearly, they have to publish all their accounts to maintain the transparency, because public sector is always accountable to the public. They are working for public. So everything, whatever is going on, they have to publish it so that it should be open to the public at large. Everybody can have a look into it. But that is not the case in case of private sector, because whatever private sector is delivering to the public, whether it's a product or it's a service, that is in return of some price they are charging, right? So they are not accountable to public as such. They are just selling it for the price. Now let's see some of the objectives of private sector as well as the public sector. Public sector helps in rapid growth and industrialization and create necessary infrastructure for economic development. See, your private sector can thrive only if the infrastructure is well developed in an economy. You know, for a private sector also to work or to grow, they need the basic infrastructure. And basic infrastructure is only provided by the public sector. Only government takes care of all the roads and connectivities and dams, bridges, flyovers, whatever is required. That basic infrastructure is to be provided by the public sector, and which acts as a base for the industrialization, on which basis that acts as a foundation on which the industrialization is founded on. Okay, so promote, and then it promotes redistribution of income and wealth. If public sector is not there, what will happen? The richer will be becoming more rich and poorer will be becoming more poorer, right? This is what is the economy, that if it is only concentrated in few hands, rich person will keep on earning more and more, and the poor will not be having any access to the funds or any access to the wealth. He'll be becoming. So to make a redistribution, to have a balanced development, they try to, promote the industries or those products which are for the welfare of common people also, which cannot be, which they cannot afford. A common man cannot afford only from the private sector, but those are the necessities. So public sector takes care of those goods. Then promote regional balanced development. Yes, that's true, because when private sector is entering into some industry or trying to set up a business unit, suppose the Bihar is, see, Bihar is undeveloped, okay? You can say backward if we see it from industrialization point of view. If you compare Bihar with Delhi, you cannot pick up any, Darbhanga or something. You cannot compare Darbhanga with Delhi, whether it is in respect of the lifestyle, it is in respect to the industrialization, in respect to per capita income, because the growth in Delhi is nowhere near to Darbhanga, right? So what happens then? Government wants somebody to start a unit in Darbhanga, to start an industry in Darbhanga, so that it can improve the standard of living, it can create employment in the nearby areas to Darbhanga. But the private sector will not be coming up there, because they say ki it is already a backward area, there is no basic infrastructure available to us, then the profit margin is also very less, and we are interested in, developing some luxurious goods, so there is no market for that there in Darbhanga. So I'll be, I'm inclined towards Delhi. No private sector would be interested in putting up a factory in Darbhanga. So, but to have a regional balanced development, so that it is not a loop-sided growth, what would public sector do? Public sector will either provide some kind of subsidies or some kind of aids to the private sector to tempt them, so that if you set up your industry there, you'll be provided some additional aids and subsidies. Either that, or the private public sector will itself put up an industry in Darbhanga, right? So that's way that these are some of the methods which are adopted by public sector, so that it can it can make a balance between the regions in the country. Then promote import substitution, save and earn foreign exchange for countries. What is happening? Private sector is just manufacturing those products in which they see the high profit. Okay, they are not bothered about the import and export and all those parts, which product. But public sector wants that we public sector should enter into such products, in manufacturing of such products, that will help us in reducing the import, that will make our economy self-reliant. If those products which we are importing from outside countries, if those are getting manufactured, those are getting produced in our own economy, then we need not to import those products, isn't it? Then what will happen? Our imports will reduce. That will improve our balance of payment, and our economy will become self-sufficient and self-reliant. So our foreign exchange will also improve. There also public sector enters. Then for the development of infrastructure, we talked about it. Generally, the basic infrastructure, it is the, because public sector is working for public. Even if we see it from another perspective, so it is the duty of the public sector to provide the basic infrastructure to the public. Okay, so it is there, but now it is what is happening. It is coming in hand with the private sector for in developing the infrastructure. There is a PPP model, public private partnership, that would be discussing in the coming lecture. Then it also acts as an effective competition to other private sector. If only private sector is prevailing in an economy, that would be a kind of monopoly. Okay, so if public sector is also efficient enough and working nicely, what would happen? It would act as a, it would be providing a healthy competition to private sector, right? So these are some of the objectives of public sector. Now, what are the objectives of private sector? First is competition only, because there is, on the left side we have the public sector, on the right side we have the private sector. So both of them, they try to compete with each other, which increases the efficiency of both the sectors. And in a way, they try to provide the good quality products at a lower cost to the consumers, to the common public. Then it generates more employment opportunities. Yes, private sector, and they generally give, higher salaries as compared to the public sector. But on the same hand, they have the job insecurities are also more, because the job is more secure in case of your public sector undertaking. Then to reduce political interference, public sector is highly regulated, or you can say it is always in the hands of the politicians. There is a, very aggressive interference of politicians and government in that. So that kinds, it is little biased, you can say, or you can say it goes little, in the favor of the politician or the dealing hand. Okay, then to increase the standard of living of the people, private sector increases, it helps in increasing the standard of living for the people. Then it increases the number of private industries in India. The more private industry is there, more privatization is there, then overall growth will be more, provided public sector should not be passive, it should be actively going hand in hand with the private sector. Okay, if only things are left only to private sector, that is not good. That would be a kind of monopoly. Okay, because only the few big business houses will be having a control of the economy, which is not good for the economy. But only if public sector is performing, that is also not, public sector is not efficient enough to, make to enter into all kinds of sector and to manage everything. So the best way is that both the sectors, they go hand in hand, so that overall growth can be achieved in India. Now let's talk about some of the advantages of public sector. First of all, advantage of public sector is that it increases employment, which ultimately, and then if public sectors are more, government earnings are increased. It, as we talked about the regional development, so it concentrates on the rural development also, not only on the urban areas. Then it helps in improving the GDP, which is your national income. It maintains a social order in the economy, and it develops the infrastructure. The disadvantages which are faced by public sector, see, every coin has two sides. Okay, so if there are some pros, there are some cons also associated with it. And these advantages are that political interference, inefficient management, high degree of corruption, we are well aware of that fact. Then consumer interests are ignored, because see what is happening, a person who is working in government undertaking, their mindset is such that they don't give a damn to the output they are delivering to the common public. Okay, because no matter whether the product is of good quality, bad quality, how efficiently they are working, their efficiency, nothing is mattering to them, because in the end they are getting their salary, whether they are working or they are not working. Okay, it's not on the outcome based, it is not on the performance based. So that's why generally consumer interests are ignored, and corruption one, it got duplicated, this point here. Then slow decision making, things happen at a very slow pace, and we've seen it. Even if you have to get some, some registration done or some licensing done, so it takes much longer time as compared to the private sector. Now, coming to the pros of private sector, it generates employment. Of course, employment generation is a part and parcel of any sector. If any industry is getting set up, whether it is from private side or it is from public side, it needs, labors. So it generates employment. Then helpful for development, faster decision making is there, less interference is there in the internal affairs by politicians and government, which leads to the efficient working in private sector. And then there are highly skilled laborers and management. Disadvantage is smaller resources, because generally private sector takes up only those industries or those sectors where huge investment is not required, because they cannot make very heavy investment, right? So their public sector comes. Then less emphasis on social welfare. These are very profit, their motive is only profit making. So these are only, run by the, with that motto. So social welfare is not a part of their operation. Then possibilities of conflicts among owners, that keeps on happening between the owners or the controllers or the directors. Even in case of a family business also it happens. This is what we had seen in case of Reliance. Then lack of public confidence. Public confidence is always with the public sector more as compared to the private sector. Okay. Then if we see public sector and private sector, let's discuss the role of public sector first. That public sector role can be divided into three parts or three phases. Let's take a first phase, that was independence phase, or you can say from independence to, that is 1947 till 1990, or then post 1990 and then current thing. 1990, because that was a kind of milestone in Indian economy because of the new economic policy, LPG. So one phase was before 1990, one is post 1919, and then third is current scenario. Role of public sector hasn't stayed stable all the time. You cannot say that since independence, role of public sector has always been stable. It has always been, ups and downs. Zigzag it has always been. Sometimes it was more, it was playing a very important role. Sometimes it was on the lowest side, that no importance or no much weightage was given to public sector, as everything was handled by the private sector. And sometimes it was okay. So that depends. So if we talk about the independence time, that is pre 1990, what was happening in the beginning? India got independent. There used to be 5-year plans. Now it is not there. Earlier, what used to happen, a 5-year plan every government used to launch. They used to sit together, they used to form a committee, and then they used to chalk out a plan for 5 years, what they are going to do in the next 5 years, and how they'll be doing, in which sector they'll be focusing more, what would be their strategy. That kind of a plan they used to chalk out, what that government would be doing for next 5 years. So during that time, what was happening, private bodies, they didn't want to make huge investment. Where huge investment was required, private sector didn't want to enter there, because they didn't have much of resources or much of funds, whatever the. Secondly, they were interested, private sector was interested only in taking up those industries where private sector was taking only those industries where the profit margin or the most profitable avenues only it was interested in taking up. Fine, then private sector had set its you can say terms and conditions, or whatever the inclination, that only where investment is not used, there we can enter private bodies, and where it is a very profitable avenue. Then what about those areas or those sectors where the heavy investment was required? And what about the those products which were for public welfare, which were not giving a heavy good profit or high margin of profit, but those products were for the welfare of the public? Then what about those? Who will be producing those? There came up the public sector. Then public sector took up those areas, those sectors where heavy investment was required. Then where infrastructure was to be developed, that was also all done by the public sector solely. Okay. Then the products which were of public welfare, there also private sector. Suppose some medicine is there which was required, which is good, which is a kind of vaccination for your common public, and that is costing you 10 rupees per tablet, or you can say one strip of tablet, and that cost is 10, and it is selling it for 10 only. There are lots of things, so it is required, but the efforts, the supplies and getting everything input and raw material and preparing it, it was a kind of very tedious process, or the manufacturing was not that easy. It involved a complex procedure. So private sector doesn't want to take up such projects. Private sector said ki, okay, it will be costing me 10, other than that it involves lots of efforts. Why would I be doing that? And ultimately I have to sell it out at the same price, or maybe even if I'm selling it at 11 rupees, that's not worth the effort. Okay, so private sector will take a back step in such cases, but it was for the welfare of the people, for the public required it. It was the need that everybody, it has to be made available to the common public. So such products public sector has to take up. So that means if we see pre 1990, since independence to pre LPG till NEP, the role of private sector was very important. It was playing the vital role. Then comes our new economic policy with the three agendas: liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Liberalization means till everything, it was a kind of, everything was going through the licenses. For every small petty thing, you required a license to operate. Okay, so us time mein they used to say it is license raj. तो लाइसेंस राज जो था वो डी लाइसेंसिंग के थ्रू खत्म किया गया था. लिबरलाइजेशन वाज नथिंग बट इट वाज अ काइंड ऑफ डी लाइसेंसिंग, दैट unnecessary licenses should not be taken up, and those act as an obstacle in the process of growth. So there, when de-licensing happened, many private bodies entered into sectors, and it became a more lenient procedure for them. Otherwise it was cumbersome. They were finding it little, they were reluctant to enter because of the procedure which was involved, and hundreds of licenses they required. That was all gone now. It was depleted. So private sector came in. Globalization, that even the outside players, they were allowed. It was a kind of global village carrying a inter-country, inter-nation trading, and production and importing, exporting things. It was a kind of global village it had become. So there also it increased the role of private sector there. Private sector was booming there. Then privatization, of course, it was that going, more and more private bodies were coming up in front, and public sector became very passive. What happened in that case? Public sector should have stood up as a backbone to the private sector, and it should have been also doing its part. But during that time, during that phase, what happened? Only the private sector was coming up aggressively. It was booming. It was doing everything, and it took public sector was laid back, which it should not have done. As a result, the importance of public sector was lost. So many of the public sector units, they either went sick, or those were not operating, and they were not playing the role which they were supposed to do. So out of these public sector undertakings, these were referred to BIFR. So there was a need to form a board. That was board of industrial and financial board for financial and industrial and financial restructuring, BIFR. So that board was formed to regulate the public sector undertakings, to check what's going wrong with those undertakings. Then whether those undertakings can be revived, then some steps should be taken up, whether these should be given in the private hands or whatever the assistance is required, that assistance is to be provided to those undertakings so that these undertakings can revive. Or if there is no scope of revival in those undertakings, then those undertakings should be shut down. Okay, so that BIFR took thing. So that was a part where it had gone totally down. It was totally passive. Public sector was doing nothing. Okay, then we talk about the third phase, that is our current phase. Now again, public sector, slowly public sector again gained the momentum. It provided the impetus to the growth which was happening public sector. That public sector thought, if public sector stays so silent or so passive, then again there will be a kind of monopoly. So to reduce the monopolies with the private bodies, public sector again came into strength. And then things, it was seeing that prices, anything they could charge, they could, because everything, if power is concentrated only with some private businesses or private bodies, then they can, it is a monopoly for them, they can charge whatever they want, and they can put their own terms and conditions, which is not good for any society or any economy, right? So from that point of view, they wanted, public sector made sure that the products or the services are provided at a reasonable price to the public. There should not be exploitation of any sort. Then now thing is this, that private sector and public sector, they have come up with a PPP model, private public partnership. So wherever huge investment is required or something is there, public and private sector, they come together. In that case, generally in infrastructure projects, also in many infrastructure projects in India, they have come together, where they're taking the help of technological advancement and skill from the private sector, and the investment is made by the public sector. So that's where it is going. So again, now both the sectors are doing well, and both the sectors are playing their own roles. Okay, so now if we differentiate, if we see the private sector versus public sector, first of all, public sector, public sector is governed by the public, that is your government. Private sector is governed by the private individuals, that is something which is owned and controlled for your personal. Private means your personal thing. Okay, so those private individuals. Then coming about their objective of public sector is public welfare, but the objective of private sector is profit making. Then employees of public sectors are known as government employees, and the employees in private sector, these are known as your private sector employees. Then the benefits which are available to the public sector, they get their retirement benefits, their other kinds of benefits. And in case of private sector employees get their, they get groomed, they get their competency skills, because they work in a very highly competent environment where they keep themselves abreast with the changes which are happening around them, and they keep them updated, right? And it helps them in grooming, and there is personal growth in case of private sector. But in public sector, what happens, the growth is sorry, promotion is always on the basis of seniority, whether a person is efficient, inefficient, doing good, performing well or not, that aspect is generally ignored. Okay, because it is seniority basis. But in case of, there are more growth opportunities in case of private sector, because your performance matters rather than your seniority. Okay, and then other than that, if you see any other differences, we have covered public welfare, it works for that. Job security, the job in public sector is always secure as compared to the private sector, because if you are not performing well, you can be fired anytime. Okay, it is totally on the performance basis. So these are some of the difference between the public sector and the private sector. Then we talk about the privatization. Privatization means any process, anything which helps in when transfer of ownership and control of an existing public sector or activity goes in the hands of the private sector. That means your privatization can be full or it can be partial. Full in the sense when everything, all your functions which are performed by public sector goes in the hands of private sector. That is a kind of fully public sector unit has been converted into a private unit. And partial in the sense when some of the functions have been given to the private sector, but the control or the regulation may be still in the hands of the public sector, right? That is partial. So privatization was because of the efficiency, because of the technological upgradation, because of the many positive sides of the private sector, that many industries, many public sector undertakings were open for privatization. Okay, so the private sector, it brings new competition, and PSU, they can also, both of these can have a, none of them have a monopoly, and they both can compete with each other. So that's why what will happen, PSU sector will be forced to go commercial and respond to the market discipline. PSU, whatever is thinking that, it can just have that laid back attitude and it can keep on running, that is not going to happen. If such a thing happens, then it can always be converted into private sector. So that undertaking or the uh, governing bodies of that undertaking, they have to keep it in mind that it has to run efficiently and at least at par with the private sector. Okay, otherwise it can be shut down or it can be given in the private hands. We'll continue tomorrow now with the same topic. Okay, you can ask your questions